had tea this morning, not my normal coffee, sometimes referenced as a love that has never let me down. My tongue's most sophisticated places relishes in its gingery backsplash, all spiced and stimulating. Aromas. She paired well with the earth's bountiful harvest as a Greetings and salutations, my honeybees. I am so excited to attempt this project, this experiment. So I was on YouTube yesterday, and which I'll drop the link in the description, and I came across a YouTube of a gentleman who used candles, wood, and brick for a stove. And so I decided that I was going to try it. But then I remembered I had this small, tiny grill that I was super excited about bringing to my homestead and grilling outside. Well, I did not know that winds in the summertime were like 20 to 25 miles per hour. So I didn't get much use of this grill. And as you can see at the bottom, it collected sand, which in the event that this works, I'm going to clean it out thoroughly and use this for an indoor stove and heating source, an additional one. So what I've done is sawed two pieces of wood. As you can see, I have no idea what the measurements are because this is not my measurements and dimensions and things to that nature is not my forte. But as you can see, it's a small tabletop grill. And so I sawed a couple of pieces of wood that I already had on the property and put it into this small grill. And so I placed a kettle of water on top of the candles. That's 8-9 tea candles. Well, it's 8 tea candles and a half of a beeswax candle that I make because if you don't know, I handcraft candles. And so I'm testing out this theory. I turned off the propane heater. It's still warm in here. I don't have a thermostat to tell you what the temperature is, but do know that I get cold very quickly. And so if it was the temperature didn't hold, I would have definitely turned my propane heater back on. So I put this kettle on at 10:13, and I do believe it's 10:25 a.m. now, my time, mountain time. And let's see if it brings this tea kettle to a boil. We'll be back with more results. So we're back. The tea kettle is hot to the touch. I heard it whining. So I came to test it. So let's see if we have hot water. Oh, this is going to be so good. And there you have it, folks. Hot water in 10 minutes on a mini tabletop grill with 8 tea candles, well, 9 in total. I am fascinated by this. I am working on doing as much off-grid things or, add as many off-grid elements as I can and using the skills and talents that I have. And this just blew my mind. I am so excited. This is a lemon ginger tea that I'll be consuming and drinking and enjoying from my new tabletop stove that doesn't take butane. Butane is shot up to $10 a can, except for if you go to like Walmart, which is about 30 miles away from me, and they've been out of it for probably a month. So this is exceptional news for me. Again, I am a candle maker. I will drop the link to my beeswax candles again in the description if you're interested in purchasing them. Beeswax candles are all natural. They're a natural oxidizer. They do not burn any chemicals whatsoever. It also throws a beautiful sweet scent. Thank you so much again for tuning into another episode of Honey's Homestead. I'm going to make this thing work. Now, I will return with another video to see if it produces heat because I'm going to keep the candles going in the tabletop stove, aka heating source, if it becomes a heating source. Let's see what happens. Again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you click like, make sure you subscribe, and turn on those notifications. I am so grateful. Much gratitude. Peace and blessings. So, as you can see, there's steam coming from this pot of water. Now, I did have the pot sitting directly on top of the grill itself, and then I had another brilliant idea. So, what if I added the cinder block to the actual grill? The candles have been burning for a couple of hours. As you can see, it's airflow, so the candles will continue to burn. And I put this pot of water, I just put the brick on top of the grill, the cinder block, maybe 10 minutes ago, and the pot is still steaming. So I'm not quite sure what, in my mind, okay, this is how it's processing in my mind. The brick is kind of holding the heat, and I'm wondering if it'll throw more heat, because it did cool down tremendously once I turned the propane heat off. And then I put the pot of water on. It started throwing heat from the steam, the pot of water, but it definitely cooled down tremendously. So I'm thinking that this brick will hold some heat, the cinder block, and throw off more heat. Again, this is just an experiment. I am, before I put the pot of water on, I did put the top to the grill on and opened the vents as high as it could. As wide as they could open, but it will put the candles out. So that didn't make sense. Now, I'm sure if I took this pot off of the brick and put the top on, I'm wondering if that dome will throw even more heat. Again, this is experimentation day, and we're going to see what works the best. Now, again, initially, I had the top on. I put the candles out, but as you can see, they're still going with the brick on, and that pot of water has been steaming like this, or throwing off steam, since I put that brick on there. So I'm believing that it's holding some of the heat. So we'll continue to see what happens, and go from there. But this has been really fun. I love experiments, and I will be back with more results. So we're on phase 3 of today's experimentation. I have actually since replaced I put the cinder block back, and all I had to do was change out one of the candles. I had a large candle that was too big, and I replaced it with a tea light and put the brick back, and it held quite a bit of heat. I took it off the burner and just set it on the countertop, and allowed it to throw heat. But from there, I added 2 clay pots, and I still have my water steaming, and it's pretty comfortable in here. So we're still on experimentation, and I'll tell you which one I like best at the end. Much gratitude for continuing to tune in. Hey gang, hey my honeybees. As you can see, I am back with another experiment. And as I'm working on this experiment, I remember the terracotta stove that you can use, right? So this is part 1 of, whoever knows at this point, but this is part 1 of today's experiment, right? Because I am determined to use this little grill, to upcycle this little grill that I cannot use outside because of our high winds. I am determined to be able to use this grill in my house, right? I'm not going to burn charcoal in my house because that makes 0 sense to me. But this is like a chafing gel that burns up for 2 hours. So let's see if that is able to produce some heat, because I woke up this morning, it was 16 degrees, and I was less than thrilled. Yes, I do have a propane heater. However, I run through propane. I have to constantly have it refilled, and that wasn't my intention, was to run off propane when I came off grid. And the wood burning stove, the Camp Gear wood burning stove that was gifted to me, is actually not rated for internal use. And so We're gonna work with what we have. I am, just working with what I have until I'm able to buy, a pot belly wood burning stove, and they're quite expensive. So let's see if this is able to produce some heat, right? Because this is part one of today's experiment, and you'll see what I'll be doing here in the near future for part two. Okay, let's get into it. So I went out and bought myself a terracotta pot. Okay, and as you can see, or you did not see, but we'll go look down in there. The chafing gel is lit. Okay, so the terracotta pot is supposed to be able to produce heat. Because I actually know I've seen where they've like double or triple lined these terracotta pots and created a stove from them. So I just lit it. The gel burns up for 2 hours. They're $1 a piece. They're $1 at Family Dollar. And so let's see what it's giving. Okay. And as that's doing its thing, I'll be preparing for part two of this experiment for today. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. You all rock. I had tea this morning, not my normal coffee, sometimes referenced as a love that has never let me down.